All right, guys, here's your review for quiz 7. As we prepare for quiz 7, we want to look at these problems. They are very similar to the questions you're going to see on quiz 7. So begin with number 1. We're going to factor y squared minus 81. And remember, when you factor a difference of squares, we can apply this principle here that we wrote in the corner. When we have a minus between two perfect squares, that's called the difference of perfect squares. And we would identify A and B. Which term are we squaring for A? Which term are we squaring for B? And we would factor it as A plus B and A minus B. So here we have a difference of squares. Our A value is equal to y. And our B value is equal to 9. So we would factor as y plus 9, y minus 9. For letter B, we're factoring 81y squared minus 9. Now, we have a GCF that we can factor first. We can factor 9 from both of those terms. So that's what we did, factored out 9. And when we factor 9 from 81y squared, we get 9y squared. When we factor 9 from 9, we get the 1. 9y squared minus 1, this is another difference of perfect squares. Our A term would be equal to 3y, and our B term is equal to 1. So we would factor the 9y squared minus 1 as 3y plus 1, 3y minus 1, and keep that 9 that we factored out, keep that on the outside of the parentheses. This is our answer. For letter C, we have x squared plus 64. So although we see perfect square numbers, we see a plus sign here. This is unfactorable. We don't have a sum of perfect squares that we can factor. So we write unfactorable, not factorable. For problem 2, we have letter A, where we're asked to solve 4y squared equals y. So first we want to carry that y to the left side of this equation. So we subtract y from both sides. And when we do that, we get 4y squared minus y equals 0. We can factor y from both of these terms. We factor y from 4y squared, we get 4y. We factor y from the y, we get 1. And now to solve, we're going to set each of these factors equal to 0. So y equals 0, that's the first factor, or 4y minus 1 equals 0. We're going to solve, add 1 to both sides, and then divide by 4. So we'll get y equals 0 or y equals 1/4. Y equals 0 or y equals 1/4. For letter B, we have 3x squared equals negative 15 minus 18y. So first we want to add that 15 and add that 18x to both sides of the equation. So we carry them over to the left side. That leaves us with 3x squared plus 18x plus 15 equals 0. We can factor 3 from each of these terms. So we factored out 3. That left us with x squared plus 6x plus 5, which then we were able to factor using two numbers that multiply to give us 5, but when we add them, we get 6, and that was 5 and 1. These factors, x plus 5 and x plus 1, we're going to set each of those equal to 0 and solve. So keep that 3 on the outside for right now, but we just want to know those values of x. So x plus 5 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0. We're going to solve both of these equations. Subtract 5 from both sides of the equation on the left, so we'll get x equals negative 5. Or when we subtract 1 from both of the sides of the equation on the right, we'll get x equals negative 1. So x could be negative 5 or negative 1. That's your review for quiz 7.